Yeah, we're recording now.
Take two.
Thanks for catching that early.
Take two.
Other man. This is the Todd Capital Millionaire Podcast, episode 116. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire, the founder and the director of the Todd Capital Investment Club, also Todd Acquisitions, and Todd Capital Cuts. Please make sure that you leave us a rating and review. We got to get our reviews up. I was looking at some newer podcasts. They have like 30, 40 shows, and they have like twice as many reviews as us. So you guys should probably support the show in that regard, man. We need the reviews.
You know, black people only leave a review when there's something bad.
Right. So, I mean, share some positive news. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. The purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful African-American business owners and investors so that people can hear the stories of successful examples because they exist. We want people to learn that business and investing are the true keys to financial success and generational wealth. With us today, we have KingAshley on Instagram, which is awesome because, yeah, we'll talk about that. But also we have Rashana Scott. She has just been doing the most. I guess it caught up to her this morning.
What?
But
doing the most in a good way.
Doing the most in a good way. Being everywhere.
We'll jump right into it. Welcome, Ashley.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all doing?
We are good. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So tell people who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Well, my name is Ashley Ann. I'm a social media strategist and a biz builder. I'm also an entrepreneur. So I started my first company 13 years ago, which is an event design and production company called Events by Ashley Ann. I had $125, a lot of hustle, and a laptop, and God allowed me to turn it into a multi-million-dollar company. And so then I started rolling that into other businesses. So now I have several drop shipping stores, an internet boutique. I dabble a little bit in real estate. I have a co-working space. Then I live stream, and on my streams I teach cash flow, business classes, a lot on digital marketing, funnels, social media monetization, lead generation systems, through automation, things like that, digital branding, stuff like that people struggle with. So I get on and I teach, so my audience doesn't have to worry about getting hustled in these streets. Let's see, I have a book. And I don't know, I'll probably do some other stuff. You know, I cook, I travel, I teach and I speak. People send me around to come and train and teach and give keynotes and all that kind of stuff too. So it's a lot of fun. I've helped over 6,000 people make money with their social media accounts. Over 500 of my clients right now have created 6- and 7-figure incomes. I'm at about 130 who have hit the 7-figure mark with me. I think I have 3 or 4 this year that'll cross over into 8 figures. And so, yeah, that's what I do, you know. Just out here hanging out.
Hey, so pretty much the internet queen or king.
I wouldn't say all that, but I do okay.
Cool.
I would say, what keeps you motivated? You have all these great things going for you. What keeps you going?
Honestly, and I'm not to sound like cornballish, but it's really true. Like, just, you know how some people, you get blessed early on in life and you find out what your purpose is. So I know what my purpose is, and I just happen to be really gifted in the areas of manifestation, and then particularly helping people manifest through the areas of like finance and business. So I feel like one of the best things on the planet Earth is to be able to get paid to do things that you like to do, things that you want to do. And so if I can help more and more people do that, and if I can help people gain, you know, more financial stability and literacy, and, you know, be happy whenever they wake up in the morning because I get to make money doing things that I like to do, then, you know, that makes me happy. So that pretty much is, you know, what it is. So I love it. And it's really cool because you get to see people continuously win on a regular basis. So it never gets boring to me. So it's always like a new project, a new challenge, or, you know, a new business, a new situation. There's always a lot of different things going on. So it forces you to be quick on your toes. So I'm not bored with it yet. So I just keep on trucking along.
Right. So let's rewind a little bit. When I first met Ashley, we was through Periscope about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And
time flies, right? That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
And we all flew out to San Francisco for the Periscope Summit. But then you were doing a lot more in your first business, which is your event designing business. So tell us about that, because even back then, 4 years ago, I was like, oh, this girl was a boss. Like, she ain't doing no weddings under $50,000. Like,
yeah, around the time. Around the time we met, I was transitioning. So because I'm in a smaller market, and I don't know if any of your audience can relate to this if they're in a smaller place. I think sometimes those of you who are in large cities, y'all forget how blessed y'all are and how much opportunity y'all have because it's there, because it's a large city. But when you come from a small place, we have to hustle like in a whole different way. And I feel like we have to work double and triple time to create opportunity. So, you know, the population of Little Rock is not that big at all. And the marketplace, I had gotten to a point where it's like, okay, I've done all that I can do here. It's not going to get any bigger. This is pretty much where I'm going to be. And it was time to branch out and open another office. So that's when I opened up my second location in Dallas. And I was working on transitioning to where I only did design work, which is what I do now. But for years, because people didn't understand the concept of an event designer here where I am, I would have to position myself as a planner. And then it's like, I'm a planner that happens to be able to design. So that was how I would get funneled through to do what I really wanted to do. And then I built a large enough portfolio and a large enough name. I was able to just kind of come in and do what I really like to do, which is all of the design work. And it's hard. It's very labor intensive, all of the setup, the production, the floor plans, linens, lights. I'm even down to the food, how it's presented, how it's coming out, what the servers are wearing, like all that kind of stuff, the whole entire experience. So I just that's the part I love. I really don't like all the planning, even though I'm good at it. I don't like the coordinating. You got to deal with like 34 to 43 different vendors during an event. There are a lot of people who are comfortable giving subpar work, which is not acceptable in my book. So I spent a lot of time having to like crack the whip. So at that point, I was transitioning to basically being able to show up and, throw flowers and glitters on stuff and make my money and get on down and not deal with anything else. So I now I'm at the point, I probably only do 12 to 15 events per year. I only work with things that I'm really passionate about or clients that I really, really like. And typically now, you have to have a budget of at least $100,000 before I work with you. I'll make an exception sometimes for like baby showers and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's definitely been a journey, doing some of the things that I necessarily didn't want to do so I could position myself properly in the market, and then going into a larger city like Dallas and trying to break into that market. That was a whole another thing. And I'd get agitated when people are like, you don't break into stuff, you grow into it. I'm like, no, sometimes you break into things. Okay. It's not always sometimes it's not like I can gradually grow here. So that whole thing and that whole experience, but opening up that second office was the best thing I could have ever did, for my career, because it put me in a position where I was then at that point, I was able to work less and make more money, which I think ideally, is what a lot of us are after. So we can spend more time doing other things that we're passionate about or that we just, enjoy. So, yeah.
It's so funny talking about flowers and glitter. I haven't seen some of your work. That thing be dipped.
My clients come to me because they're extra. So we like drop people out of the ceilings, 50, 60 chandeliers, 6 foot, 10 foot.
I remember seeing this ice thing one time. Yeah. Oh, didn't y'all do like a floating wedding cake?
Yeah, we did. We did a floating wedding cake before they got popular. Yeah, we had the cake that was floating and people were like, what is going on?
It was like no table. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. That's my thing. So I have 3 like super distinct gifts: business, beautification, and hospitality. Because I do love helping people and making people feel special and stuff like that. So I definitely know that I'm in an amazing position in life, like I said, to be able to do what I'm doing, because there are a lot of people in the event industry. They have to still keep a 9-to-5, and then they can only pursue their passion on the side. And there are very few of us in the event planner and producer lane, that get to where we can say our companies, are doing 7 and 8 figures a year. So it definitely, you have to put on your strategy hat to figure out how to do it and how to communicate, to people your value in the marketplace, right? Because an event is not anything that you need. It's not a house, right? It's not going to really give you a return unless you're doing a promotional or a marketing event. So if it's business, we're marketing and getting products out there and things like that, you're going to get some return from that. But for social events, there's no return on a birthday party. There's no return on a big wedding. That's not something that you need. And a lot of these budgets for these events, you really could send someone to college or purchase a home or, something like that. So you got to be really good at sales to get someone to drop that type of money on something that's going to be consumed. At the end of the day, all the food is gone, the cake is gone, the flowers are dead. There's nothing else left except for your memories. So I definitely, I bumped my head and fell on my bottom a lot while I was getting it out there. But yeah, for sure.
I want to talk to you about the very beginning of starting your business. Getting a lot of feedback. I'm not sure what that is.
I think that's you.
It can't be. Hello?
Yeah, that's better.
So can you talk to us about the beginning of starting your business, how you got your first clients and how you kind of scaled your business?
Sure. So the beginning, or like after I actually decided, to LLC and all of that stuff, like how far back you
I think let's go back.
When I was illegitimate in these streets working.
Listen, we all started. She's talking about before the LLC.
Probably the first 3 years of the 13 years I was in business, it was more of like a hobby, right? And I definitely wasn't legit. I was just, doing a little bit here, a little bit there. You know how it goes. I've always been really talented with design and stuff like that. And so basically for all of my friends and family, they would always want me to help with their parties, decorate their apartments, stuff like that. It's just, my mom is a really fabulous designer. She's super stylish. My grandma was really, really good. So I'm pretty sure I picked it up from them. When I was little, I used to win like a lot of art competitions and stuff like that. So it kind of had always been there. It was something that I liked doing. And basically one of my cousin's coworkers came to her apartment after I had finished it. She's like, "Oh my God, who designed? This is fabulous." And she was, my cousin started laughing. I started laughing too. We like, designer? It's a designer. Like, Ashley did this. Like, she ain't no designer. I was like, yeah. She was like, "Well, can you come and help me?" I was like, sure. Came over, helped her with the house. She was like, "Well, how much are you charging me?" Like, "I'm not charging you anything," or whatever. And then she was having a party and she asked, could I help with the party? Said, sure. She said, "How much are you going to charge me?" I was like, "You just pay me what you think is worth. You cover the expenses of the stuff and pay me what you think is worth." So that was technically my first paid gig. I got a few $100s after that. And that's when the light bulb popped in my head. I was like, I can make money, doing something that I just like to do. It still wasn't in my brain yet that this would be like a full-fledged career and, turn into a large company and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, cool. So I was just still doing a little bit here, a little bit there. People would call and I would go and do their little thing. "What are you going to charge me?" "You just pay me what you think is worth." So I literally was working for free, but I was building my portfolio, right? So I decided I'm going to get serious about this. This is a business that I want to pursue. I was still working a corporate job at that time. I had just finished up my master's degree, or was about to finish up my master's degree, actually. And so, you know how it is, you're juggling like a bunch of things at one time. But I needed to figure out where I wanted to be in the industry. So I called like a gazillion places trying to get an internship. I never, ever wanted to open my own company when I started out. I thought I would be like 45 or 50 before I went into entrepreneurship. You do the safe path, right? You go get a job, you work, you stay there, you get your retirement, put your money in your 401k. And then when you get 45 or 50, if you're fortunate enough to stay at the same place from, 18 to 45 or 20 to 45, then you go and you pursue whatever it is that you've always wanted to do, right? So that's the path I was thinking I was going to take, but it didn't end up like that. So, I said, I called trying to get an intern. Nobody would give me an internship, but I really, really, really wanted to do this. So I said, well, I've been doing it on my own anyway. I said, so F it. I said, I'm gonna start my own company. I said, but before I do that, I need to get closer to the industry on an everyday basis. So I went and took a job. I was making, I think, like $8.75 or maybe $9 an hour at a party rental place. And I would work there 25 hours a week. And I also would, because I needed to get my design fixed, they had all this inventory. So I said, well, I can come in and I can decorate your showroom too. So I would help with the phone calls and the rentals, but I would come in and decorate the showroom. And then, of course, more people wanted to rent the stuff because they wanted to have the designs that I set out. So we did that for a while, and I just kind of got over it. It was some stuff I was seeing behind the scenes on business, but I needed to see it. Like he had a guy in the warehouse that was robbing him blind. Like, he would be subbing stuff underneath him like every weekend. There was another 2 girls that were always riding the clock, never getting anything done, messing up people's orders. But I also was able to see some really cool stuff too, like how they were able to get corporate contracts with colleges and universities and get in deals with the hotels. And I was able to see, I said, okay, so this is where the money is really coming from. It runs the business, not necessarily these social events, because if you're doing those, you die. You never, an individual doesn't have access to the funding like a large corporation or university or institution does, right? So that was a big eye-opener for me. So I learned a lot while I was there. I was working and just kind of learning. And anyway, there's a lady who came in, and at this time I had already LLC'd and stuff. Now I'm looking for a space, and she actually was regentrifying this whole entire area in Little Rock, and she was looking for other businesses to bring in because she had a certain, energy and a vibe that she wanted for this place. And so she was doing. Say it again.
Are you talking about Pam?
No. I didn't know Pam though, but no. This is another lady, and so she, her name is Anita. She's really fabulous. So I was rolling in through there. She was having a party. She's really into art, and she made this sculpture garden. And so she was having this party to debut of the garden, and she would do this party every year on the first day of fall. So she came in to get her rentals, and she was having trouble with a lot of stuff. And I said, well, I can help you. And I said, I can come and set it up and all of that. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah. She's like, what are you going to charge me? Whatever you want to pay. I'm still whatever you want to pay me to people. So I go down and I get everything set up. She's immensely happy. She comes back at the end of the night, and I built like these big old pretty flower arrangements for her and all this kind of stuff. She comes back at the end of the night. She says, I know that I owe you way more than this. This is not enough to cover, all the hard work that you did, but it's all I have right now. And she gave me $500 that night. And I was like, oh, it's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Then like a week later, I got like $1,000 in the mail from her. And I was like, oh, I was like, okay. And then she had like the spaces, and we were able to talk and work out a good rate on the space, right? On the commercial space, because she was trying to build up the neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't as safe at the time. And now it's like, people walking around with puppies and dogs and, what I'm saying? All times of the night and stuff. It's totally different now than it was. This was like years ago though, right? Over a decade ago. So now I'm sitting at my desk at my corporate job because I was a financial analyst for a company. And so I'm there and I'm praying to God and asking for a sign, about if I should pursue this full time or not. Well, I got a big old sign. I actually booked a client that had like $125,000 budget for a wedding at the State House Convention Center, where we were for a Nigerian couple. And so I was like, oh, I said, well, that's my sign. I have validation that people like my work, right? And then on top of the validation that people like my work, now I have found the space. I'm going to put a lot of work into the space, but it's a space and it's mine, and I can make it what I want it to be. And I could see the potential in the neighborhood, and I definitely bought into her vision. And Anita was really right. She did an amazing job down in that whole like district where she's at. And I just closed a 6-figure contract. So like, there's my sign and I'm out. So I decided not to renew my contract with the 9-to-5 at that point. And I just took everything that I had, in my account and went out and made it happen. So that's how I got started. It took years for me to actually say, I'm going to step out and do this, full time. But yeah.
So I feel like you kept saying, pay me what you think it's worth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say like, oh, well, you should set your price and live your life, like Jay-Z said. But what you got that was way more valuable than any money that you could have gotten is you kept getting event after event after event, which allowed you to sharpen your sword, which allowed you to have like this huge portfolio that you could then throw at the 6-figure contract.
Yes. And the reason I was saying pay me what you worth now, and people are going to get mad at me, but I don't care. This is what I'm saying and I'm sticking to it 10 toes down. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. A lot of people jump out into the marketplace demanding, and they are not worth what they're demanding. Point blank. Your product is not quality. Your skill level is not quality yet. You don't have to
it's trash.
Trash. That's what I say. I'm trying to be polite to y'all, but since you brought that trash, yeah, a lot of people are straight up trash, and they're out here charging these asinine prices, and then they're upsetting people, and now you're ruining your business before it ever has a chance to get off of the ground and really turn into what it should be able to turn into, because your ego is inflated or someone told you that what you wanted to hear. You don't need to do nothing for free. It's not for free. It's a marketing and advertising expense. The same way you have to pay for a radio ad or a television spot or a billboard or, to put money towards your Google ads or your Facebook ads. It is a marketing expense to be able to build up your portfolio, get access to new networks, right, of people that didn't even know that you existed, because from doing these events with Anita, I picked up all kinds of other clients who now knew who I was, and these were people that would pay me $20,000 for an event, $50,000 for an event, $80,000 for an event, and by then I had the skill set to be able to handle it. But when you're first starting off, you don't go and cut your teeth on a big client and F up everything. And so now you've effed up your business, you've effed up whatever their project is. You have people that have a lot of animosity towards you, and people are going to tell. We live in a day and age with social media. Back in the day, you may have hopped on the phone and called, 5 or 10 people that you knew and vented about them. Well, now the average person has at least 1,000 followers. So if they get mad enough at you, they're going to get on there and blast you to thousands of people. And now all of a sudden, girl, I wouldn't work with him. Girl, I wouldn't work with her. I saw such and such and such. Let me send you the screenshot. Let me tag you to the post.
Oh my God.
A lot of people who are out here right out the block, no experience, no portfolio, don't know how to handle different emergencies, don't know how to negotiate, don't know how to properly, at that time when I first started, I didn't even know how to properly budget a job, you know what I'm saying? Because I hadn't had enough experience to know what supplies cost and find my vendors yet, and, know like how many labor hours it really took to do something. I didn't know any of that. So I was always just pay me what you think it was worth, because I knew, I'm considering this. So like you said, it built me a portfolio, it built me an experience, and it also built me a network. So now I had, like, when I actually decided we're going full throttle, we're launching this, we're having a whole thing, even at the grand opening that I had people there that would age from 20 all the way up to 65 that were doing business with me at this point in time. I had corporations, I had universities, I had hotels on my client roster by then. I had individuals that were like high profile and high net worth. I was working for a lot of the doctor's offices and the car dealerships in town too, all because I was willing to take my time, and I also was willing to humble myself and say, I want to get out here and learn and build. And if I'm going to mess up, let me mess up on something small. I don't want to get on the grand stage and, F myself over, like, because that's what a lot of people do. So a lot of people out here, y'all straight up trash, and y'all are out here charging the most because somebody told you to charge your worth. And it's not that you're worth peanuts. That's not what I'm saying. But you don't have the experience at that point in time to be charging what you're trying to charge. You need to humble yourself. You need to be straight up. I'm just getting new. I'm working on building up my portfolio. I would be honored to work with you. And if you like what I do, you can throw me a little something to the side, and then also spread the word to your network about my products or my services. And a lot of people don't like it when I say things like that, because it's unpopular to say, get out here, and build your portfolio and be willing to work for free, be willing to give away things for free, but you do it for the right people, right? You do your free 99 correctly, it needs to pay 99. So, I'm doing free 99 for people who have access to a network, people who can typically afford my services and products. And then the Holy Grail is somebody that's like a combination of both of those. So now I'm in a super advantageous position, and I have a business that's sustainable. This is why a lot of people go in business and go out of business, I'm convinced, because they don't really know. And they came out the gate where everyone else in the market is charging $500, so I'm going to charge $500. Okay, everybody else in the market, though, they've been around for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Right. You've been around for 10 minutes, like get on down. And then as I grew, of course, like now, if you want to work with me, this is my price and that's that. But I have a huge portfolio to back it. I have hundreds of clients who are really happy with me to back it. I have all this experience. I've won all these national awards and stuff. So now, yes, I can charge this price, and I can prove to you my level of work is superior to others in the market.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. So we're real receipts. And, it's funny because, well, like you said, obviously you have to test the market. But it's funny because, like you said, we'll go out there and it's like, oh, girl, you should be charging this. And that's the first person who ain't even paid you. They're not even about to pay you. But they're going to tell you what you be charging other people, right?
Yes,
oh, yeah. Oh, no. And then there's definitely value in that. Because like you said, it's just a matter of just like, and it's a beautiful story too, because it's like you took a hobby and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, right? And then you also took, you took something that you're passionate about, and you also went from, pay me what you think I'm worth, which is so funny because the Ashley I know that ain't even in the vocabulary. So that's funny, but it's great to see that transition. So speaking of transition, I want to move into more of the business builder side. So you built up this amazing company, this amazing brand, doing luxury events, and then you transition into helping hundreds of business owners. And we can even maybe target it more to like, let's say your investing clients or your real estate clients, since the majority of the listeners are in real estate. Like what I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I guess you can tell me what did that look like transitioning into just helping business owners, and then what are some of the main things that people struggle with in our industry?
So first thing that people struggle with in y'all's industry and in every industry is not being good listeners. This is a struggle for people in their personal lives and their professional lives. And I definitely feel like, part of the reason I've been able to go further than other people, outside of God, I pray about it and then I'm about it. Whatever I pray about it, then I go and I start putting action towards it, right? But I'm a good listener. So a lot of people, I could go up to them, right? We could put 10 people in here right now and I could go up to them, what are you good at? 9 of those 10 people are going to look at me like a deer in headlights, or either they're going to respond to me with whatever their day-to-day job is, right? They're not even good at listening and recognizing whatever gifts and talents God has naturally put inside of them. So I accredit my transition to being a good listener. So probably at this time, I had been in business for like another year and a half in. So now I'm at a total of about 3 years in, right? And other people, my colleagues, so other event industry professionals, they're coming to me and they're asking me, how are you getting people to pay this money? How are you booking all these clients? What are you doing, right? And I had already kind of stumbled across using Facebook ads, not Facebook ads. I was just using Facebook at the time. Facebook ads wasn't quite there yet, but I was definitely using my Facebook page to book a lot of clientele, and I was using Google ads to book a lot of clientele. So I was doing something totally different than everybody else because they were all still doing traditional marketing. And back then everybody thought Facebook and Instagram and stuff, they thought it was all like fly by night, right? They're like, oh, it's gonna be a flash in the pan. And for some reason I just trusted my instincts and I knew it wasn't gonna be a flash in the pan. So I just kept with it. And it could be age, because I got my Facebook account when I was in college. So maybe, I understood what it meant to all of us more than the older people who are already more established in business got it, but I got it. So people in my industry would start coming to me and asking me for advice and for tips. And then there was this one particular lady, she had a business coach. She was spending $5,000 a month with this business coach, but she would always keep calling me. She would always drop by my store. And finally one day I just asked her, I said, ma'am, I said, call your business coach. Why do you keep calling and asking me stuff? She said, because everything you tell me works. And then they started telling other people about me that were outside of the event industry. So then I was just talking to pretty much anybody that was in business. So I did have like people who were real estate brokers. I had people who were construction workers. I had recruiters. I wasn't charging at anything. I didn't even realize that I was consulting. I was literally helping people put together strategy, marketing, telling them where they need to network. This is what, this is what your clarity statement needs to be. This is what you need to focus on. We're looking at this. This is what you need to do to pick up more of these sales. This is what you need to build on this backside. This is before content marketing was content marketing. I was already content marketing. I didn't know that's what I was doing. This is how we need to reach people. Yeah, I was doing all of this stuff. And so when the lady came in with the $5,000 business coach and she told me, whatever you tell me works, that's when the light bulb went off in my head. I was like, dang. So if you're paying somebody $5,000, right, and you're still calling me, then I should be getting paid to tell people what to do in their businesses. And I started consulting 10 years ago. And so I was, doing my little thug thizzle. So whoever I would meet locally, so pretty much working in between Little Rock and Dallas and helping clients and building up and stuff like that. And I was charging, decent rates. It still took me probably like, another 2 years in to figure out I wanted to niche down on social media marketing and advertising. It came very natural to me, and so I took it for granted. I just assumed it was very natural to everyone else, and I would realize, because people come in, I was a good listener, everybody. I need help with this. I need help with this. I don't understand. I don't understand it. And so I was like, okay, I can package this up and even start writing private programs for larger companies and entities. Then probably about 4.5 years ago or so is when I started live streaming. And when I started live streaming, it really wasn't, I didn't think this was going to be a significant money maker for me. My goal was to make $1,000 a month. I said, if I can make $1,000 a month doing this, I'll do it. I was like, they'll pay my car note, my insurance. I was like, cool. Whatever. I was like, that'll work. So I started live streaming literally to teach people how this works, because I kept getting all these horror stories. I paid this guy $20,000 to promote my gym. He was supposed to run my Facebook ads. He ran off with my money. This girl came and said she was going to do my social media management. I paid her $5,000. I never got a post. She won't answer the phone. This person said if I give them a $2,000 deposit, they were going to build my website and build out my Facebook page. They took it kept being all this stuff. Or people were just delivering people trash because they were capitalizing on the fact that the average person doesn't understand the language, the metrics, really know what they're looking at back there. So I was like, well, I'm gonna teach for free so people don't have to get hustled. So at least if you're hiring somebody, you know what you're supposed to be looking for to tell if someone has actually done their job or not. I had no idea that when I started live streaming and doing the late night business show that it was gonna blow up the way that it did. And so I started picking up a lot of international clients because I get on at 11 o'clock at night. So it's like early in the morning if you're in the London tea room and stuff like that. So then I started getting, and then it's like afternoon for my clients that are in Australia and China and stuff. So I started picking up all these clients from all over the world, including the States, and people just kept telling people. I did this one series on how you monetize your live stream, and the information wasn't out there anywhere, and I broke it down. We did a whole series over 5 days. I went from like 2,000 followers to 8,000 followers because people kept coming in there like, I did what you told me to do last night. I made a client. I did what you told me to do last night. I made $5,000 today. So people were like, who is this girl that's out here telling people to do stuff that works? So within 6 months, my consulting business doubled, like just like that. And I was like, this is nuts, because I had the ability to talk to people, directly. And now instead of having to do one-to-one, now is one of me to maybe like 3,000 of them at a time. But it was amazing. And so I just continue to roll with it and grow. And so now on the social media side, I do a little over $1 million a year just from digital sales and products on the social side. And then on the consulting clients, I probably do anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 a month in business from consulting, all straight up and down from social media, which is nuts, because it gave me the platform to reach more people. And I think so being a good listener, like listening to your gifts, listening to your clients, listening to your audience. A lot of the real estate professionals that I work with, they're so focused on the sale instead of being focused on the client. So I have to try and deprogram them. And then once they can get to, okay, it's about my client and getting what they need, then they start seeing these huge turnarounds in their business. And then we take them through the process. Okay, well, this is how you're going to set up your Facebook and your Instagram page, because we're going to make you an authority on this neighborhood. We're going to make you an authority in this city. You're not just going to put up a house. You're going to go talk about the schools. You're going to go and show the parks. You're going to go and show, the shops and the ice cream parlor and stuff, right? You're going to go to the community events. You're going to cast these. You're going to type it out. You're going to tell people it's here. Say, hey, I'm doing a neighborhood tour here. If you think this is where you want to live, if you think this is want to bring your family, come and see me. Come and sign up. We're going to show you all the great things that are here. Now I can talk to those clients individually, find out what their needs are, where they are, and let's build out some strategies for them. So learning how to actually establish yourself as a resource, right? And then we start building your systems on the back end. So now you have leads coming in all the time, but you want to be the go-to person in that city or in that state or in that neighborhood. And if you're focused on a sale, you're not the go-to person because people don't feel like you care about them. People want to go to somebody that they feel like cares about them and is looking out for their best interest. So my job is to teach them how to inform their audiences about everything, even down to first-time home buyer programs and how you get access to them. And here's the website. And then let's create a little template for them to tell them to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So that way people are like, I love this realtor. I love this broker. I love this person. They've helped me so much. And it was more than just, purchasing a commercial property or more than just purchasing a home with them. So, yeah. So
I think what's so cool about hearing your story, I don't know why I sound like. So I guess my question to you is that there's so much money to be made in business. A lot of us focus on real estate, but I feel like the numbers that you can do in business far surpass real estate. Would you agree? And can you expand on that if so?
Okay, so I believe everyone should have multiple streams, for sure. I feel like if real estate is the business that you choose to be in, I think you should be aggressive about that. I feel like if, collecting pennies is the business you choose to be in, be aggressive about it. If Tootsie Rolling is the business you choose to be in, be aggressive about it. That's what I feel. I feel like you pick that one thing and let's really, hammer in on focusing on building it up. For me, in my case, I use real estate more as a supplement, right? So it's to build my portfolio, it's to create assets for me. It gives me something if I do need to, if I ever did need to borrow against or sell or, use something to position myself for some funding or something I needed. It gives me mailbox money, right? So for me, real estate is another stream of revenue. It's not the primary business. But I know some people in real estate, that's their primary business and they are out here, mopping the floor with it. So I just think whatever it is that people choose to do, they need to be aggressive with it. That's how I feel like. And I think you need to always be focused on your customer. So I think that's where people miss the mark, especially my brokers that I work with and a lot of the real estate agents that I'm working with that are the first few years in. They are like, I got to get a sale. I got to get a sale. I got to get a sale. Not realizing you get the sale by I got to help someone. I got to help someone. I got to help someone. Does that make sense? I feel like whatever business you're in, if you're focused on serving, that's how you scale. That's how you grow, right? And then going to conferences, joining mastermind groups, listening to podcasts like this so you can be exposed to other strategies and new ideas and systems and apps and tools that people are using. literally spending at least like scheduling time once a quarter to take an educational sabbatical for yourself, so you can go, you know, to a conference, you can go to a class, you can go to some workshops, you know, and sharpen your tools and your skill set. That's important to scaling and seeing. And I do think people are missing the component of having younger people on their team and around them. I think a lot of people, because they feel like, well, I'm the elder, so I know everything. And I have some elders, you know, that I go to for advice, but I have some people on my team too that are even, not that I'm, you know, yeah, people probably like, you ain't that old chick, but I got some people that are like 21, 22 on my team, right? I'm 34. So it's a whole nother segment for them, and they know about other apps and tools and, you know, different trends and stuff, and they can come up with different ideas so that we can always be evolving and growing, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And you look at a lot of the companies lately in the past 5 years that have filed bankruptcy, a lot of them refuse to transition to the social media market space, right? They refuse to market. They refuse to connect with people that way, and it bit them in the butt. So there's always something else. So you got to be a listener. You got to be willing to educate yourself. You want to be around other people that are winning. And then whatever you are doing, like focus on helping people and be very aggressive about serving. However it is that you serve people, be aggressive about it. And I think if you're doing those things, you will, you know, you'll be able to scale your business.
She said, be very aggressive about serving. I think that's so dope, because I wanted to point that out. I kept hearing that. And every time you start something, you give and you serve. It's like you didn't go on Periscope saying, hey, it costs you this much money to follow me on Periscope. You just went out there and started dropping gym after gym after gym, and then clients kept coming into you.
Yeah. I don't believe, you know, what's that stupid cliche that said, don't chase the money, let the money chase you, or something like that. The older I get, is definitely true. You know, I didn't go out saying, I want to be nice to people so I can get something in return. It's just, I've always gotten these amazing financial byproducts by just genuinely being a nice person. And that's when I started connecting the dots. And I was like, dang, people are looking for solutions. People are looking for answers. People are looking to get to their desired state. And if I can step in and I can help you do that, or if I can help you solve a problem, or, you know, help you do something you've been trying to achieve, I have been a customer for life at that point. You know what I'm saying? Just by stepping in and being willing to do this. And a lot of people, like I said, they're so focused on the sale and the deal instead of on the person, not realizing they're cutting themselves out of so many deals. So we can change our minds to, how do I inform my customer? And whatever business, you know, that your audience is in, whatever business y'all are in that you're listening to me, whatever business you're deciding to pursue or add to your portfolio in addition to your real estate, just remember, every day you need to wake up, how can I make my client's life better? How can I do something for them? What happens is you start to become a resource, and then you will have people that call you and email you and DM you. How can I work with you? I literally have about 400 and something, you know, DMs right now inside of my inbox just on Instagram. And it literally every other, so 1 to 2 is someone, how do I work with you? How do I work with you? This is what I'm trying to do. What product can I buy from you? Can you take me on as a one-on-one client? I don't chase any client at all. In the event world, it's the same way. How can I work with you? Do you have space? I've had girls change the dates of their weddings just so they can work with me, because I do a good job of putting out content and servicing and helping people in the marketplace. And if you're great at service, you will become leader of many. And that's straight up facts, true, up and down.
I was gonna say it, but I knew Charles was.
But you know, it is, you know, not to get all biblical, but it is Sunday. But it's the truth. You know, all of us have the ability to generate wealth. All of us have the ability to create whatever life we want to. It's just, are you willing to listen and tap into it? And are you willing to service people instead of looking at, well, how can I take something from you? You know, and you be strategic. Don't be a doormat. You know what I'm saying? You got to have rules and parameters. And we all got, the Lord knows we live in a world of commerce. You know, Jesus was an entrepreneur. People forget that he was a whole entire carpenter out here doing his thug thizzle. So God knows your gas costs money, your internet costs money, your phone costs money, all of those sorts of types of things. But you should be focused on giving your client the best experience possible. And if you're doing that, and if you're informing, and if you're willing to answer questions and explain the processes to people, you will find that you're in a position that you are overrun with clientele.
Yeah,
I love it. And before we wrap up, I just want to point out, like, when I met Ashley, I had 1,000, 2,000 followers maybe on Instagram. On Periscope, it had grew on Periscope, but I was like, I think I had like 8,000 followers on Periscope, or 15, and then I went up to like 15 or something. And I was like, man, this live stream is like a full-time job. I ain't gonna be able to keep up with this. But I knew that, a transition. I wanted to grow my brand on Instagram, and she definitely right. Like she said, give content. What do people need? What do they want to see? What do they need to see? What can help them? How can you provide value? And I know you probably get that question all the time, like, how do I get more followers, right? Like, I'm sure that's probably, aside from, growing my business, how do I get more followers? Like, that is probably the number one question. And, right, I already know, because they ask me, and I say the same thing, like,
I was gonna say that a lot of times the posts that you put out there that are informative, that are teaching people things, those get the most likes. So like your post that was talking about wholesaling in Chicago, that got like a ton of likes. And so it's like that you're becoming a resource to people, and that's what kind of makes people want to follow you so they can learn more.
Yeah. Can I give a caveat to that though? If people are so focused on being popular, you don't do that. You focus on becoming prosperous first. So we need to create some type of system with our social media to make sure that it's bringing in a lead, to make sure it's bringing in a sale, to make sure I'm even targeting the right type of people. And Rashana and I would talk about this a lot, that once you get that in place, now we can work on growing the profile. So what good is it to have a bunch of empty followers? So a bunch of people that just like your stuff, you know what I'm saying, but they never participate with you through purchase. Okay, now you'll be out here like some of these social media people who are mad popular. They have 1 million+ followers, but they sleeping on an air mattress at home. No disrespect to anybody sleeping on an air mattress, but I'm just saying that God has called you to that ministry. He ain't called me to that. I'm not doing that. Okay. It's not going down. I like commas in my account. Okay. We like commas in the kingdom. I like to make sure my clients have commas in their accounts. Okay. You heard me? That's what we're on. So before, so many people are focused on all these followers and you don't have anything to offer to them. So work on putting together a system. So figure out who are you trying to service? What information do they want to know more about? Then how can I create little documents or videos or tips that I can offer to them? These are going to be your lead magnets. So they will want to opt into my list. So now I have the opportunity to continue to build a relationship with these people. Now that I have some type of infrastructure in place, right? I know who I'm talking to, what I'm giving them. I got something to offer to them so they want to continue to talk to me. Now I need to get some type of email autoresponder so this stuff will fire off on its own, right? I got all that connected. Let me go over and get a link tree. I'm going to put the URL inside of my Instagram, inside of my Facebook. So now they can click and they can get there. So now I have a real deal system. So now I can put out 10 to 20 pieces of good content, research my hashtags, use those, and now I can start reaching out to other people so we can cross promote together. So we can share each other's content. We can do live streams together. We can go on each podcast, right? We can show up at each other's live events. And now, because I have my system down and I know who I'm trying to reach, my job is just to put myself in front of that target audience. So now at this time, if I'm growing in a way that is going to affect my revenue and my profit streams in a positive direction, instead of I got popular, you know what I'm saying? But if I ask these people to buy a t-shirt, like that girl, and we're not gonna say her name right now, but she had 1 million+ followers and couldn't even sell 36 shirts.
Right.
Because the targeting was off, and she's popular, but you're not prosperous, right? So unless you're building up your business so that you can make money from advertising and marketing dollars, charging someone to promote with you, the real gag, I have clients that only have 2,000 followers and they're doing over $100,000 a year because they're highly targeted customers, and there's a system in place of how they're funneling people through the pipeline. And you're able to use your Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to actually get real people who are looking to do business, who are looking to move forward with projects, on the phone to talk to you, right? And then you use your top secret ninja sales skills, go ahead and close that thing and move on about your business. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people think that followers is the answer, and it's not. Like, if your system is already trash, well, now you're going to have a trash system and you're going to be showcasing it to thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
What Drizzy say? Worry about your followers. You need to get your followers up.
Hey.
Where can people find out more about you? Where can they follow you? Where can they get in contact with you?
I'm at KingAshley Ann on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think I'm just Ashley Ann over there. No, they wouldn't give me the King. Twitter, I'm at KingAshley Ann everywhere. Click the link in my bio. I always have a free course or a free class on like marketing or branding or something to get people started. If you want to get my notifications of when I do my live stream trainings, text King, K-I-N-G, to 313131. Text the word King to 313131. Text the word King to 313131. And for those of you who are looking to immerse yourself in business and information and content and strategic partnerships, and if you need funding and capital for your projects, even for real estate projects, I have this amazing conference coming up August 29th through the 31st.
Woo-hoo.
Shauna's going to be one of my speakers. I'm so excited. It's called Accelerate 180. I have speakers coming in. Well, let me rephrase, it's not speakers. We have workshops and trainers coming in from all over the nation. So I have several CFOs, COOs, visionaries, founders, the creative strategists for Moet and Dior. Mikos Adams will be in the building. Steve LeBroy, he helps people build private equity lines through insurance. He's coming in. The CFO and the CEO of Credit Suite, all they do is talk about business credit and show people how to utilize it. He'll be there. I have commercial lenders, investors, private lenders. The SBA is in the building, hard money lenders, and creative financiers. So what's really unique about Accelerate, I've been to all these conferences as a producer, as a speaker, and as an audience participant. I've never been to a conference where they actually bring funders to the conference. So I have people that come and they actually leave with like $250,000, $100,000, $500,000 to grow their projects because my people are there looking to give you money for whatever it is you're doing. And then we have all of the workshops. So the education is bananas. There's nobody on the stage talking about how great they are. They are actually on the stage. This is the system I use. These are the tools I use. This is the strategy. This is how many times we do it. This is how you put it together so that you actually leave with real actionable steps. The networking is phenomenal, of course. And instead of a vendor market, we have a resource market. So if you need a VA, if you need a reputable person to do a website, if you're looking, again, for financing or funding, there are people there that can help that. If you are an author and you need a ghostwriter, like it's very different because it's built towards actually helping you build your business development. And then we also we have a session over biblical principles for our Christian entrepreneurs. We have relationship panels, and all the relationship experts that are there have been married 20 years plus. They all have certifications and they're doctors. They're not just, random people that popped on social media and told you they're relationship expert. they're real deal at what they do. We have time management panels, because a lot of us can't seem to get enough hours in the day, so you can learn tips and tricks, networking, all that kind of stuff. So it's in Little Rock, Arkansas. Get on a plane, a train, a bus, a Flintstone car, whatever, get there. And it's we have tickets left for the 30th and the 31st. So they get you 2 days of access to all that fun stuff that I just talked about. So yeah, it's www.accelerate180. Or if you follow me on social media, just click the link in my bio and you'll see a ton of Accelerate buttons and they'll get you to where you're going.
So very cool. So thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you for dropping so much just valuable content and giving us the game. I'm inspired. So
thank you so much for having me. I'm inspired by all your stuff. I was stocking in Chicken Hawken when I got the invitation. I was like, oh snap. I was like, somebody new I can learn from. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh.
This is episode 116. Any last words, Rashana?
Thanks, Ashley, for coming on. I just love Ashley. Anybody that knows me knows I love this girl. She is the real deal. And, I've seen her grow at like not even 10x, 100x. So my last words are maybe I accelerate. See y'all in a couple weeks in Little Rock because clearly it's going down. So thank you for coming on the show and really just dropping the gems and inspiring people, giving people a different perspective, a different outlook. Definitely some takeaways are, show up and give value first, be of service first. And we hear it all the time so much that it's almost become so cliche, but it was refreshing to hear and see firsthand a real story of someone who evolved, who took that principle and evolved into being super successful. So just thanks for coming on and sharing that with us. And we will talk soon.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a fabulous day.
You too.